In this video, I'm going to go through how to structure your paper in APA format. So let's assume that what I have here on the screen in my Google Doc is the writing that I'm looking to submit. So the first thing that you want to do is make sure that it's in double spaced. So I'm going to highlight all of this and I'm going to come here up to the top and I'm going to select line spacing and then I'm going to put in double spaced. Okay. Now you can certainly change the justifications to fully justified or left justified, but generally speaking, you should be using left justified. Now for APA, we need to have a page number in the top right-hand corner. So in order to insert a page number, I'm going to come up to the top for insert, and then I'm going to go to page numbers and then select this option. And it's going to pop up top. That's all I need to do for page numbers. You don't need your last name. You don't need the title anymore. This is all you need. And so I have the page number and it's going to show up on every page that follows. Now for APA 7, I need to have a title page. So let's add in our title page. Return down a bit. Now I want to make sure that I have my title in the center of the page, and any other information that I'm going to be providing is going to be in the center of the page as best as I can. So I'm going to start by putting in the title of this paper. So I'm going to call it Music's Effect on the Human Brain. Okay. Then I'm going to put my name. So I'm going to put Jane Doe, not really my name, but you know. Then I'm going to put the course that this is. So I'm going to put in the course code. Then I'm going to put in my teacher's name. Then I'm going to put in the date that I'm submitting it. So I'm going to use today's date. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that this is centered. All right. And so it's not quite in the middle. There we go. That's a little bit better. So you'll see that it's basically looks to be kind of in the center of that page. This can be single space or can be double space, but I think double space looks just a little bit cleaner. So we're going to leave it like that. You do not need to change the fonts or anything like that. Typically speaking, however, you should have in APA 7 Arial font 11 or Times New Roman font 12. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to change this to Arial font 11 so that it's all consistent. So that's a little bit better. Okay. So now I'm going to make sure that my writing shows up on the next page. Now, some teachers may ask you to do an abstract. An abstract is an overview about what your research is has concluded. So if your teacher does require an abstract, you're just going to make sure that you're going to add that on page number 2, and it should be on an independent page by itself. If you don't have to do an abstract, what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that at the top of page, the second page or the page where your researched information is going to start appearing is going to have your title centered in at the top of that page. So I'm just going to actually take the easy way out here. I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste it right in the center there. So it shows up at the top of the page. It's the same title that you see here on my title page. In APA format, we sometimes need to use subtitles. So a subtitle, it would be reflective of maybe a change in the direction of your paper or something more significant to your assignment. So if you are needing a subtitle, your first subtitle is going to appear in the center. So I'm going to put subtitle 1 here just so that we know what we're talking about here. So now you wouldn't put subtitle 1, you'd actually put like other words that would be reflective of whatever your paper is arguing, but you would have subtitle 1 and then you would skip a line. And then if you would have a second subtitle, so let's say it's a subcategory of whatever you are arguing, subtitle 2 is going to appear to the left. Now, both of these are going to be bolded. So we're going to bold them. If you need to go further and you need a subtitle 3, then you're going to make sure that you indent it a little bit more. But I don't think in this course you're going to be needing that, so we'll just leave it at that. Now, in your paragraphs, you should start with an indentation. So you're going to tab in your paragraph. So every time you have a paragraph, make sure that you hit that tab button so that you get the indentation. So that's the basic format of APA 7. Now we also need to make sure that we're adding in our citations. So whenever we include a quote, or whenever we are paraphrasing, so taking someone else's idea and or their argument and putting it into our own words, we need to account for that. So we need to make sure that that information is represented. So the author whose ideas that we are putting into our own words, we are accounting for them, we're going to make sure that we acknowledge that. So let's assume that I'm going to say like this sentence here, that we need to add a citation for it. So what I'm going to do, and this is how Google's going to make it real easy for you, is I'm just going to put my cursor where I need it to be, and we put it before the period, and I've added in a space so that it doesn't show like right next to the S there. So I've added in a space, and now we're going to add in our citation. So I'm going to come up here to Tools, and I'm going to go to Citations, and then I'm going to select APA. So let's put in APA, and I'm going to add in a citation source. Then I'm going to choose the source type. So it was a website that I used. And then I'm going to fill in all of this information. So let me fill that in here. Okay, so you see I've added in all of the information about my source that I'm using. So I put in the date, I put in the date that I've accessed the information, I've put in the URL that I obtained the information from, the website title, and the title of the article that I used. And I'm going to select Add Citation Source. So remember, our cursor is where we want it to be, and then I'm going to click Add Citation Source. And you're going to see it's now cited it for you, but I need still that in-text citation. So I need to acknowledge this paraphrase sentence. I need to acknowledge it. So I'm going to select Cite, and you're going to see that it puts in the correct APA format inside my paper here, right? Now, you're going to make sure that any other times that you've maybe paraphrased from this source in particular, that you acknowledge it. So we'll say, like, none of this is actually from this source, but I'm just using it as an example. But let's say over here is another location. Okay, so I put that into two different locations. And anytime there's a quote, you'd put this as well at the end of that quote. Now I'm ready, my assignment is done, and I'm ready to submit it, but I don't have a references page. So we want to make sure that we're including our references page. And so what we want to do is, once we have all of our sources listed here on the right-hand side, we're going to select Insert Bibliography. So I'm going to select that, and it's put in right away my bibliography. Now in APA 7, bibliography's reference page should appear on their own page. So I'm actually just going to hit enter a couple of times here, and you'll see that it has added my source, and it's actually even properly formatted according to the APA standards. And that's it. That's how you would format for APA. Pretty straightforward. So good luck with your assignment and whatever you're working on.